Every pro was once an amateur, and every expert was once a beginner. Welcome to the DYA Network, where we're on a mission to bring you essential resources and cutting edge information to help young athletes attain their maximum potential while developing the champion within. I'm your host, David Edwards, and welcome to the network. Hello, everyone, and yes, welcome to the DYA Developing Young Athletes Network that we call Network Nation, and welcome to this Athletes Tip of the Week Friday. Now, on today's Tip of the Week Friday, I'm excited because this is something I mentioned on Monday's episode, that I'm bringing something fun for the young athlete to listen to. This won't be long, but it's something that I think can be beneficial. I'm going to tell about a story, a book. It's been in movies. Disney's done it, and it's dealing with everyone that's kind of showing age here, the Three Little Pigs, the story of the Three Little Pigs. So if you haven't heard it, young athletes, go out, read it, or look it up. Look at it on video. It's something great. The Three Little Pigs is a story about three pigs that built their homes. One built it out of brick, one out of wood, one out of straw. And I'm going to relate this to you as young athletes, is that you got to start looking at yourself from the perspective of building your house out of brick. Because what happens a lot of times, I think, is that we want to compare ourselves to others, and we're looking for that shortcut. Now, the story of the Three Little Pigs, as we all know, is that the wolf comes along and he huffs and puffs and he blows down the house of straw and the house of wood. But see, those two pigs were taking their time. They were taking shortcuts. They were looking at how do they get to a point where they can go and play and have fun and not put in the labor and the focus it takes to build a structure that can't be blown down like the wolf had done. And we have to look at it from that same perspective, is that when we're looking at what we're trying to develop, on our show, we always talk about we're developing athletes. And then sometimes what happens with athletes is that they're shortcuts. We look at what others are doing. We look at where they are in their growth and development, and we can't do that. We can't look at where they are as far as from a practice perspective on where they are with development, if they're starting on a team when they're young, if they're getting a lot of accolades as far as how they're performing. We can't look at that because that doesn't determine who you are. You have to look at it as a process, always like on a show I had, of needlepoint improvement. It's little steps towards a focus and a goal that you have that can help you get there. Now just think about it. If we're going to practice and we're focusing on the things we're supposed to be doing, and let that be beyond the sport itself with some of the things that we talk about, it can help us get there as athletes. So we want to focus on those things with persistence and determination. And I'm going to break something down here that adds a little bit of credibility or testimony to this. As we all know, I always like to compare, those don't know, I like to compare things to an entrepreneurial mindset, or those that have a business mind that have started things from ground zero. And there was an article in Inc. magazine. Inc. It's an entrepreneurial type magazine. It started off for people that were in management and owned their own businesses, or they managed corporations back in the 70s. But they have Inc.com. They had 8 habits of most successful people that lazy people lack. And they're not the first to do this, but there's something that always stands out, is that we have to make it habits. We have to make habits as far as us building that brick home. That brick house that we build takes time. But guess what? Like the successful individuals, we have to look at doing the hard stuff first. That's one thing that they do, that's most successful people that lazy people lack, is that they say the first thing they do is they do the hard stuff first. Another thing is study their craft. If you love something, you have a passion to do it, you got to focus on it. If you love whatever sport it is, what are you doing to understand it more? But before you even do that, you got to do this too, that they point out. You got to believe. You have to believe you can do it. And what you're believing in is what is your goal? What is your ultimate goal? That's what that house is, and that it's going to take time to build it. It's going to take time to build that dream. And you have to look at it from a long-term perspective versus short-term, because you could easily go and do what others are doing if they're not focusing on improving those little things that can make them better. And they might be gifted in certain areas. They might be gifted in, let it be, in basketball with their ability to dribble at a young age, and that's all they work on. And when they get older, what else have they worked on to build that athletic ability? Because when athletes get older, those that have worked on the things, and we see that all the time at the pro level on those athletes who worked on those weaknesses, just like we're talking about here with habits with successful people. Those are the things that are going to help you get to that next level. But if you're going to take the shortcuts, you're wood and straw, and it'll get exposed later in life. So you got to focus on these things now. But the only way you're going to do it is believe that you can, and you're willing to put in the time and the work, and not to keep using the lazy people lack that they have in this article. But I think as a whole in society, that's what happens too, is that's why things are so successful. We see as shortcuts. How do I become rich? How do I become successful? People that play the lottery, those are shortcuts. People don't want to put in the time or the habits it takes to be successful, but you have to. As an athlete, it's going to build your character and build you beyond the sport. So remember this. You want to build your house of brick. You want it to be able to stand. Do not take the shortcuts and be held accountable. This is another thing, getting back on track, they talk about is being accountable for your own actions. Be able to look in the mirror and realize, you know what, I need to correct this. That is a mistake I made. I realize that, and that makes you a better individual. It makes you stronger. The other point they make is this, and this is very important, and I mentioned this many a times, is that you have to surround yourself with other successful people. I had in one of the episodes on surround yourself with eagles, not pigeons, and you have to, because that'll help uplift you. If you think of what a lot of corporations do, they have an advisory board, but now you hear of the mastermind groups that people have as well, and that's collective minds helping each other out in certain areas. You have to do that, because if you're around people that want to take shortcuts, and imagine if you're around all your friends and all they wanted to do is build houses out of wood and straw, taking the shortcuts. I don't want to do this. Oh, even if I'm doing a sport-specific skill, well, I'm excited about seeing a batting coach, or I'm excited about going and seeing a soccer coach working on these specific things that are related to the sport. But what if you're weak in those other areas? What if you have some of those inefficiencies? Those are the things you keep in your pocket that you work on that help you get over the edge as you develop and get older. That's what the brick of foundation is with building athleticism. And it's not that you don't need those sport-specific skills, but now we're looking more at how do I build a brick? How do I build that stronger individual? And some other things I want to point out to you is this, is that it's beyond the physical end of it. It's also doing this. Am I getting enough sleep? How is my rest and recovery? Am I putting enough time into focusing on the mental perspective of self? Am I writing out my goals? Am I have an accountability list of where I am? Keeping that in front of me, writing those things out, going back to it and seeing where I am as an individual with that growth and development versus saying, I'm going to step away from this and I'm going to take this shortcut. It takes time. And the thing is, you have to stay in your own lane. You have to focus on what you can improve and realize that we're all different. You want to develop to the best that you can be, and you want to build your best brick home. Because at the end of it all, you want to be able to say this. You were able to give all that you have to be who you can be, to build your brick home that a wolf can't come and blow down. So everybody, that's it for today. Take it, like I said, if you haven't, go out and read the book. Go online, look it up. I'm sure a lot of you young athletes, if you haven't, it's a great little read. Imagine if you have a home and it's made of straw right now, it's not too late. Make sure to stay focused and be persistent, and you can build the athlete in you. Hey, everyone, visit our website at the dyanetwork.org for more information on ways to help the young athlete develop. And if you could do us a favor and leave us a rating or review, and please go out and share this episode, pass it along. We would really appreciate it. Until next time, remember, give 100% in life pursuing your dreams and never give up. Take care.